guys, and welcome back to Living in Sisterhood, another episode of Medical Mondays with Sytia. And today I'm actually very excited to start this two-part series. So as we all know, October is always known for Breast Cancer Month, but what a lot of us don't realize is October is also recognized as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So I'm super excited about our guest today because we have someone, well, she'll share a little bit herself, but we have someone who has experienced both and is able to speak to us on it. So I'm so excited. I'm going to let her introduce herself now. Tamara, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Sytia. My name is Tamara Lynnel, and I'm based here in the Bahamas. I'm 35 years old, and I have 3 kids, Kyran, Kimaya, and Rave. I'm an entrepreneur. I make straw crafts, all kind of beautiful jewelry. That's me. And I do have experience on both breast cancer and infancy loss, and they are both in the same month. So I'm very excited to be here today to share what I've experienced with both situations.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, this is going to be thank you so much, Tamara, first of all. But like I mentioned, this is going to be a two-part series. So in this part, we're going to be focusing more on the breast cancer awareness. And then next week, we're going to be dropping a video on more of the pregnancy and infant loss awareness. So I found some information I thought was very interesting. There was a study conducted by the US National Library of Medicine, and they actually did research on the Bahamas from 2009, 2011. And it stated that as many of us already know, breast cancer is the most common form of cancer affecting women in the Bahamas. But what I found really interesting was that 48% of the women diagnosed with breast cancer in the Bahamas were actually under the age of 50. Because, a lot of us always think that breast cancer, the older age or whatnot, but actually 48% of the women diagnosed were under 50. And they were diagnosed at stage 3, which is pretty late. They were under 50, and the average age was actually 42. And that's young because that's 42 here, but in the US it's actually 62. So that's telling us that Bahamian women are being diagnosed early, and they're being diagnosed at later stages, meaning that they're dying even younger. I mean, when you think about it, that's a very sad reality. So I found that information very shocking. But getting into your experience, Mara, you said you're 35 now. So how old were you when you were diagnosed, and at what stage were you diagnosed?
Well, I was diagnosed in January, so that means I was 35 when I was diagnosed. And it's so interesting that you researched that and you found out about that, because I found that to be very true. Before I found out about it, I knew cancer and I knew about cancers, but it never hit home so much as to when I found out for myself. I was shocked because I was like, but I'm 35. I'm sorry, I was 34 actually, because I turned 35 in March. So I was like, I'm 34. Is this supposed to happen already? And I was told as well that more and more females in the Bahamas are finding out that they have breast cancer earlier. And with going through this, I learned that there are females in the Bahamas and even around the world as well that are experiencing this at an even younger age.
So let me take you back from before all of this. So what initially triggered you to say, hey, something isn't right, let me see a doctor?
So my last child is Rave. She is going to be 2 in March. Okay. So after I had her, I noticed, and it happened in the right breast. So after I had her, I noticed that the breast milk was not being released. Well, because of experience from having children, I figured it was just breast milk. However, when I saw that it persisted for a while, I did go to the clinic, to the local clinic here, and I told them that, listen, I don't know what's happening, but the breast is just continuing to be swollen. And so I was told that, okay, it's just breast milk that's not being expressed.
Right, because when you say that, I automatically think like mastitis, or what a lot of breastfeeding mothers get, right?
Right, because I Googled it, and that's why I took a little while as well to go to the clinic, because I Googled it myself and I thought that it was just a regular case of mastitis. So I went to the clinic, they diagnosed it as the same thing. Now, what started to be strange was because it was swollen for a longer time, and I thought it was very strange. And then on the like the right side of the right breast, it started a red mark started to develop.
Oh wow!
And so very strange. When I saw that happening, I persisted more with getting it checked out. Right? It happened in 2019. let's say about November, December 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take a scan, and then they saw the mass. They placed me on antibiotics, hoping that it wasn't what they thought it was, but the antibiotics didn't work. It actually grew
Wow.
in the space of 3 weeks. And
But
so when I
initially,
went,
you never felt a lump?
no,
Wow.
and the thing, yeah, because I didn't really think of it, I never thought of it as being cancer. I just thought about it as being breast milk unexpressed.
Right.
I didn't check it or anything for any lumps.
Mm.
Let me tell you, because so I was scheduled to go back after I did a biopsy after taking a second scan. I
Mm-hmm.
did a biopsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was scheduled to come back in within 3 weeks to get the results from this biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had a lot of pain. This was about the second week now. I had a lot of pain in the breast, so I went back to the clinic to get some, some painkillers maybe.
Right.
And when I went there, it was late in the evening. When I went there, the doctor that saw me and they checked the breast, and they said, well, he said, let me just check the system to see if the results had come back. And lo and behold, the results had come back earlier. And so he asked me, he said, well, Miss Smith, is there someone that you would want to be here? And the fact that he said that,
Right. That
I,
red flag triggering things in your mind. Mm-hmm. That already alert you.
from the time that I had already taken the first scan, I had already started to Google different things then that what could this possibly be? And then I started to realize that this could possibly be cancer. So when he said that to me, I automatically went into fight mode.
Right.
From my research, I already learned that cancer, forms of cancer, although some cancers can be more detrimental than some,
Mm-hmm.
cancers are caused by just bad cells in the body, and they can be fought. They can be fought with a change of diet. They can be fought with chemotherapy and a healthier lifestyle. So in that moment, I went into fight
When
mode.
your brain already click and you say, okay, time to deal with this. You didn't really go into any state of depression or beating up yourself or feeling down. You just automatically went to fight mode. And that's really commendable. Well, I know a lot of women react differently. Some, go into the state of depression. Some feel like, oh, life is over. But I'm glad that your reaction was, to keep pushing. It's not because it's not a death sentence.
It really isn't.
Right.
It
So,
doesn't have to.
mhm.
It doesn't have to be, but your attitude on it determines what it is for you.
Exactly. So I know you said you did your research before, so you kind of expected the diagnosis. But was there anything else that kind of, I guess, made you expect it? Like, did you have any positive family history of breast cancer or anything like that? Were you expecting it? You had no family history of it.
No, not at all.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
No, breast cancer was not something that was prevalent in my family genes.
And even at such a young age, you only 34, you said, did you even think that that could even happen to you at that age?
That was a shocking factor for me, because I
Mhm.
thought that this thing happened when you later, because some of the research that I saw said that 40 and beyond, and I was like, I'm not
Right.
even 40.
Because
Yeah,
even with mammograms don't really start until after age 40. So that's why you would think more, okay, then this is not really expected in my age group, right? So I can imagine how shocking that was for you at such a young age. Now I know I asked you about performing breast examination at home before, but did you know a little bit about the at-home breast examinations? Have you done it before in the past, maybe once or twice? Did you know anything about it?
yeah. Before, in years past, I have done it where you hold up your arm and then you
Right.
check. Yeah, but it's not something that I would say that I did on a regular.
Hmm. Knowing what you know now, having experienced what you experienced, do you feel like that's publicized enough, or are young women like us aware of how important it is? And
I don't think it is publicized enough. I don't think it is talked about enough, especially in the Bahamas, because like I said, I would always watch TV sometimes, and I would watch St. Jude's, and I would always say,
right.
you know what, I want to donate to these cancer centers of America.
Hmm.
It didn't even dawn upon me like that people suffer from this in the Bahamas until I stepped into this stage of my life. I did never even expected that it happened in the Bahamas as much as it does. I don't think that we talk about it enough, and I think that it is something that we need to talk about more and more.
Right, and I can agree with you on that too, because I know we have a lot of the organizations, the sister, and a lot of these, um, the cancer walks and these things. But
right?
I think there needs to be more target to younger women. I think when we see these organizations, it's more, the older ladies of over 50, over 60. But I guess, in my opinion, I think we just need to see more targeting younger women like ourselves. So we can't just be oblivious to the point, to the fact that, okay, breast cancer occurs in older women, but that it can actually happen to us at our younger age. So probably more needs to be done for our population, for our age group, to really bring about that awareness. So your initial diagnosis was, what month was this? You said it's 2019.
Yes, the ending
So
part of
from so
2019.
from that initial diagnosis to now, how has your overall experience been, from the chemotherapies and the biopsies and everything, putting in the port? How has that whole experience been from then to now? Give me a little bit of that timeline for you.
Now with chemotherapy, I would say the because I hate to make it, because I know that some people are very different. So I don't want to make it seem as if I was not afraid, or I was at times. However, I knew that it did not take me crouching in a corner
Right,
to fight it. So
right.
I tried to stay possible. With oncology at the Princess Margaret Hospital here in the Bahamas. One thing, because I had a lot of full hair. You see now my hair is very short,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a full hair, and they told me, like, listen, to be honest with you, when you start these treatments, you're gonna lose all of your hair. They prepped me for that.
How was that for you? Because I know with women, when we see hair is our beauty and that's our self-confidence. So sorry to cut you off, but how was that for you, with now
So
realizing, okay, I'm gonna lose my hair?
yes, honestly, after they kept telling me that, and I had asked them, like, is there no way that I could keep my hair? And they said no, unfortunately, because the medicine is strong, and it has to fight the cancer, help fight the cancer cells. It also takes away some of your good cells. I cried for that part too, because like I said, I had a lot of hair. I had a lot of nice natural hair. And so the first chemo that I had, I took it, and then within a week after that, my hair started to come out.
Wow.
But I said to myself, you know what? I was prepped, and I already knew that I would lose my hair. And losing your hair is much better than having to lose your life for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And they did tell me, well, listen, after your treatments are done, your hair will start to go back. And my hair actually started going back before my treatment.
Oh, that's good. Very good.
So I mean, it was okay. It was okay, but I had to do 3 rounds of chemotherapy. You have to take it, and then you have to take a 3-week break, and then you have to take another
Mm-hmm.
portion of it, then 3-week break,
Mm-hmm.
then another portion. So I did that,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
right? After I did that, then I was set to take 12 more chemo sessions with a less aggressive medicine. And so that would be every week for 12 weeks. And Friday past was actually the last one that I had to
Yes,
take. So
I was gonna get to that, to congratulate you on your last chemo treatment. That is amazing. Congratulations.
yes,
That's a major milestone.
if you have to make sacrifices to save your life, then that's what you have to do.
Definitely, definitely,
You know? And so I did it, and the 12 weeks is over. Everyone was so very supportive. The nurses,
Oh,
the
that's awesome.
yes, my sisters. I can say my sisters were one of my biggest support groups in this. My sisters, my children, my family.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was very supportive in this. I must say, my friends. I have the same friends from the 7th grade, and yes, and they were there. Listen to me, because there was at one point I had to take a CAT scan to see if it had spread through my body. They charged $900 for the test. However, you had to wait for 3 weeks. And so my one friend in particular, Tia, she called me, and because every day she would want to know, well, tomorrow, what happened now? What we have to do now? And she called the private centers, and she found out, and the CAT scan at the private center was $1,700.
What?
She said, get dressed, and I'm gonna take my lunch break at 9 o'clock, And I'm coming with you. I said, well, where are we going? She said, we're going to Fort Terrace and we're going to take the scan. I said, but friend, that's the private place. She said, yes. Well, we have the money, we going right now. And support is very important to have in something like this because you can have down times. You can have times where you just think about. I had times where I thought, well, God, why me?
Right.
And
Right.
you know, it came to my spirit, why not you? You know, you are the best candidate to tell this story. So I took it as that and I went on with it.
Now use as your testimony, even with platforms like this, where you're now
Right.
speaking out and sharing your experience. And I'm sure it's going to impact many lives. A lot of young women who are now facing this diagnosis and don't know what to do. You know, it's so easy, like I said, when they step into the state of depression, but when they see your story and your spirit of fighting and, you know, your perseverance, so that's very inspirational. And I commend you for that. Definitely. So now that you're done with chemo, what's the next step on your journey with breast cancer?
We'll have to take scans to ensure that the tumor or the cancer cells are depressed enough. And then, of course, the surgery. So my next step is to have a consultation with the doctors to talk about surgery.
So I know you shared a lot about your experience with the chemo. So other than the chemo and the biopsies, and you did the portacat and all that, was there any other lifestyle change that you had to make along this journey as well?
The most important, I think, lifestyle change that I made was with my diet. Sugars are not good at all. They literally feed cancer, like feeding a monster. And so I changed my diet when I first found out about it. Now, when I first found out, I literally was afraid to eat anything. So I Googled everything that went for healing. I lost a lot of weight. I'm actually putting back on weight now, but I lost a lot of weight because I literally I boiled onions and drank the water from that. I boiled garlic and just drank the water from that because I was literally afraid to eat anything. I lost a lot of weight, but it helped a lot, I think. It helped to build my immune system. Listen, if chemotherapy is said to kill your good cells as while it's killing your bad cells, why don't you build your immune system?
Why don't you really took those good cells?
Right. So I said, okay, maybe this can work. And so I did those things religiously. Turmeric, everything. And it literally helped with chemo sessions. I did not feel ill at all. They give you little pills in case you feel nauseous. They gave me those pills time. And I didn't have to take them at all. So they never had to give me them at all.
So I know you spoke a lot about, you know, the family support and how important that was for you. So with even having 3 children, how was that explaining to them, you know, what's going on with mommy? What are the changes? How was that for them and for you to explain that and go through that?
So my older son and daughter, they are 7 and 6 now. So they were 6 and 5. So my breast took on a lot of changes this year because it kind of actually started to decay. The breast, I think, I never wanted to find out the stage because for me, the stage wasn't important because this thing was not going to take me out. I'm here to take you out. So honestly, but my breast took on a lot of changes. So I think it might have been in a later stage because my breast started to deteriorate.
Wow.
Right? Yes. And so because my children saw that, because I wasn't really sick or anything like that, so I didn't really have to explain to them that. But because they saw the changes in my breast, I did have to sit them down and have a conversation. And I did tell them like, mommy's breast is sick because it's something called cancer. Okay. And I explained it to them as best I could as a 5 and 6 year old.
Right.
And mommy, does that mean you're gonna die? I said, no, I ain't gonna die.
No. Aw. It's hard for them to understand at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you know that you have a cut on your breast. I'm like, yeah, but you know, mommy eats the right things and mommy doing medicine so it can get better, you know. And so they understood.
Right. So Tamara, with all that you've experienced from 2019 to now, knowing what you know now, what would you say to other young ladies like yourself?
I would say to take better care of your body. I would say to pay attention to what you are allowing in your body. Yes, you are young and vibrant, and your metabolism just on fast. So you feel like you can eat anything and just do anything. They are catching up with your body, and they will, the negativity of the bad diet and the bad health choices will manifest at one point or another. And also, just like don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. If you see something happening with your body, don't procrastinate. Take steps to just to help it, to stop it. Annual checkups is so important.
And as well with the annual checkups, the at-home self-breast examinations. The self-examination are very important. Even if a reminder, you can say, okay, I'll do it after every period. So that's your constant reminder to do it monthly after each menstrual cycle, to say, okay, let me check my breast. So that's so with all that being said, I just want to say thank you so much, Tamara, for sharing your experience with us. I know for a lot of people, it's very hard to think back to that time. It's a very emotional experience, but thank you so much for opening up yourself to us and, sharing your experience. I'm sure that many women were definitely impacted. Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw my shirt. Let me just put a plug in here. My shirt says, "My God is bigger than cancer." And Tamara's shirt says, "Faith." Very nice. So guys who are here locally in the Bahamas, if you are interested in purchasing a shirt, Tamara's actually doing these shirts. So I'm going to put the information in the description below. So if you are interested, you can hit up and get your shirt because it obviously is going to a beautiful cause. So we thank you again. So next week for part 2, we're going to be discussing pregnancy and infant loss awareness. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more content like this, and we definitely want to see you at part 2. So remember to stay classy, sassy, and beautiful.